morning, friends. Welcome to TalentSprint for yet another live session on the weekly current affairs for the period between the 22nd of August and the 30th of August 2017. As you all know, during this presentation, we will cover 6 segments, namely the national news first, followed by the international news, then the news on banking, economy and finance, the news on science and technology, then other current affairs, and of course the sports news. So we begin first with the national news. In the first news of the national segment is that the Home Minister Rajnath Singh has launched a digital police portal. Home Minister Rajnath Singh on the 21st of August launched a digital police portal under the Crime and Criminal Tracking Network and Systems Project, or CCTNS. The portal is a smart policing initiative to provide services to citizens and aid efficient police investigation. The portal is a platform for citizens to file online crime-related complaints and also requests for antecedent verification. The next news item is that in a latest development, in a significant development in Tamil Nadu politics, the varying factions of the AIADMK, led by Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy and his predecessor O. Pannirselvam, were merged together on the 21st of August 2017. Both the leaders, flanked by their supporters, visited the party headquarters in Chennai and formally announced the unification, which came after a bitter split about 6 months ago. Mr. Palaniswamy said Mr. Pannirselvam will be the AIADMK's coordinator, while he will be the joint coordinator. Tamil Nadu politics has been going through a very turbulent phase ever since the death of the former Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha, and it's not clear whether the present government will survive its term or not, because there is another rival section of the party claiming loyalty to the jailed General Secretary Sashikala, and we have to wait and watch the developments on how the developments take place henceforth. But for the present, the two factions have come together, and the government led by E. Palaniswamy as the Chief Minister and O. Pannirselvam as the Deputy Chief Minister is in power in Tamil Nadu. The Indian Navy has got an amphibious landing craft. The second landing craft utility LCU L-52 of the Mk4 class, an amphibious ship to transport combat equipment and troops of the Indian Navy, designed and built by the Garden Reach Shipbuilders, or GRSE, was commissioned at Port Blair on the 21st of August 2017. These ships would be based in the Andaman and Nicobar Command and can be deployed for multi-role activities such as beaching operations, search and rescue, disaster relief operations, supply and replenishment, and evacuation from distant islands. There has been a new set of rules announced for getting passports. Now, passports will be available without police verification. The physical police verification for getting a passport may soon be dispensed with, as the Centre plans to connect the procedure with the Crime and Criminal Tracking Network and Systems Project, or CCTNS. CCTNS, an exhaustive national database of crimes and criminals that will check the antecedents of applicants at the click of a mouse, was expected to be linked with the Passport Service Office of the External Affairs Ministry. This is indeed a very welcome development for people who are put to a lot of hardship while undergoing these police verifications. UIDAI has launched a doorstep Aadhaar enrollment drive in Delhi. UIDAI, or the Unique Identification Development Authority of India, has joined hands with CSC India for launching doorstep enrollment facility in the national capital for the elderly, patients and others who cannot travel to the Aadhaar centers. A mobile van in partnership with CSC India will go and enroll people who are unable to travel to Aadhaar centers for enrollment, like elderly, patients, small children, etc. CSC India provides permit and monitors operations of common service centers across India, which are meant to provide government services in rural areas. There are an estimated 2.5 lakh CSCs operational across the country. Moving on, in a landmark judgment, the Supreme Court on the 22nd of August 2017 set aside by a majority verdict the practice of divorce through triple talaq among Muslims, saying the practice was void, illegal and unconstitutional. The apex court held that triple talaq is against the basic tenets of the Quran. In view of the different opinions recorded by a majority of 3:2, the practice of talaq-i-bidat or triple talaq is set aside, a 5-man constitutional bench said in a 395-page order. This order has been welcomed by all sections of the society. Moving on, in the next news item of the national news segment in this weekly affairs between the 22nd and the 30th of August 2017 is that the second ship of the landing craft launched into the Indian Navy. On the 21st of August 2017, Dr. Jagdish Mukhi, Lieutenant Governor of Andaman and Nicobar, commissioned the Iron LCU 452 into the Indian Navy at Port Blair. This is the second landing craft utility vehicle which the Indian Navy has in its possession. The ship has been designed and produced by the Garden Reach Workshop in Kolkata and will be used to carry battle tanks and armored vehicles from ship to shore. The ship is fitted with a state-of-the-art communication system. Ashwini Lohani to be the chairman of the Railway Board. Ashwini Lohani will be the new chairman of the Railway Board. The appointment of Mr. Lohani, an officer of the Indian Railway Service of Mechanical Engineers, was cleared by the Appointment Committee of Cabinet on the 23rd of August 2017. He is presently serving as the chairman and managing director of Air India. He previously served as the Divisional Railway Manager, Delhi Division, Director of National Rail Museum, and Chief Administrative Officer of the Rail Alternate Fuel. Countrymen take New India pledge Sankalp Ki Siddhi at joint checkpost at Athari. Thousands of people from various states took the New India pledge Sankalp Se Siddhi to make India terrorism, communalism and poverty-free at the joint checkpost at Athari in Amritsar. The special oath-taking ceremony was organized by the Directorate of Field Publicity of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in coordination with the Border Security Force on the 22nd of August 2017. The Inspector General of BSF Punjab Frontiers, Mukul Goyal, lauded the audience which had come in large numbers to watch the retreat ceremony and boost the morale of the Border Security Force, the first line of defense for our country. The Union Cabinet has approved the setting up of a commission. The Union Cabinet has approved the setting up of a commission to examine subcategorization of other backward castes. The income ceiling for the creamy layer amongst the OBCs has been raised from 6 lakh rupees to 8 lakh rupees. The decision to set up the commission is based on the recommendation of the National Commission for Backward Classes. The move to increase the income ceiling for creamy layer from 6 to 8 lakh rupees has again been welcomed by a large section of the society. Moving on, in another landmark judgment, the Supreme Court has declared the right to privacy as a fundamental right. In a landmark decision, the Supreme Court on the 24th of August 2017 declared the rights to privacy as a fundamental right under the Constitution. A 9-bench Constitution bench headed by Chief Justice J.S. Kekar ruled that the right to privacy is an intrinsic part of the right to life and personal liability under Article 21 and entire Part 3 of the Constitution. The bench unanimously overruled the 2 earlier judgments of the Apex Court that the right to privacy is not protected under the Constitution. Thus, the Supreme Court has gone against its own earlier ruling and said that the right to privacy is a fundamental right. This raises a lot of questions as to whether the Aadhaar violates the privacy right as laid down in the Constitution or not. That case is in a different case, and that is being heard subsequently, and we'll have to wait and watch developments on that score as well. Moving on, the National Sports Museum is to be set up in Delhi. The Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs is soon setting up a sports museum in Delhi, the first of its kind in the country. It will be set up in the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi. India's achievements in various sports, focusing on traditional sports of the country, will be showcased in the museum. It is intended to popularize sports as a way of life amongst the younger generation of citizens in our country. Again, in a significant judgment, the Supreme Court has clarified that the liquor sales ban does not extend to municipal areas. The Supreme Court has clarified that the nationwide ban on sale of liquor within a distance of 500 meters along national and state highways does not extend to municipal areas. The court, in an order dated July 11th, which was uploaded on the Supreme Court website recently, clarified that the 500-meter ban does not prohibit licensed establishments within municipal areas. The court explained that the December 15, 2016 ban on liquor sale only extends along and in proximity to highways which provide connectivity between cities, towns and villages. This order will come as a big relief to many hoteliers who have established bars and pubs inside the city limits and just on the outskirts of the city. And it is hoped that their business, which had dropped by as much as 30 to 40%, will pick up again soon. Some states like Tamil Nadu are waiting for the Attorney General's approval before opening up the licenses to the bars and pubs. Following adverse judgment against the Dera Sauda chief Gurpreet Ram Rahim Singh, violence has erupted in Haryana and Punjab. At least 29 people have been killed, including 2 women and a child, and more than 250 injured as violence erupted in Haryana and Punjab. This came after the Dera Sauda chief Gurpreet Ram Rahim Singh was convicted in a rape case by a CBI court in Panchkula on the 25th of August 2017. Army has been called out in Sirsa, where the Dera headquarters are situated, to control the situation. Curfew has been clamped in the town and internet services continue to remain suspended. Punjab and Haryana High Court orders attachment of all properties belonging to the Dera chief. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has reacted sharply to vandalism by the Dera supporters. The court has ordered attachment of all properties belonging to the Dera chief. It has directed recovery of losses caused due to violence from the Dera Sauda. The government has constituted a task force. Government has constituted a task force on the artificial intelligence for the country's economic transformation. The 18-member panel, headed by Dr. V. Kamakoti of the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, will comprise of experts, academicians and researchers and industry leaders. The task force will submit concrete and implementable recommendations for the government, industry and research institutions. Moving on, in the next item of the national news segment is that Orissa has launched grid connection solar rooftop projects. The Orissa government has launched rooftop solar projects to create awareness about harnessing renewable energy. Under this program, the residents can set up small solar plants on their rooftops and tap the energy for their own household needs. Excess power can be exported to the grid through the cable. It will enable the common man to easily access the solar energy at a low cost. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampadna Yojana gets cabinet approval. The Union Cabinet has approved the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. This will be for a period of 2016 to 2020, coinciding with the 14th Finance Commission cycle. The main purpose of the Yojana is to supplement agriculture, modernize processing, and decrease agri-waste. This will enable creation of modern infrastructure with efficient supply chain management system from the farm gate to the retail output or to the retail outlet. Moving on, in the next news item, we have that the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has launched the HAL-designed light combat helicopter. The Finance cum Defence Minister Arun Jaitley announced the launch of the production of the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited designed 5.8-ton category light combat helicopter or LCH in Bengaluru on the 26th of August 2017. It was cleared for procurement by the Defence Acquisition Council a few months ago. The basic version of LCH has been cleared by the Centre for Military Airworthiness and Certification, and the DAC, or the Defence Acquisition Council, has accorded the approval for the procurement of 15 light combat helicopters from HAL under the indigenously designed, developed and manufactured category. The Prime Minister has announced an immediate assistance of 500 crore rupees to the flood-affected areas of Bihar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced an immediate assistance of 500 crore rupees to the flood-ravaged Bihar. He had a detailed review meeting with the Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over relief operations, compensation and rehabilitation work in flood-affected areas. The Prime Minister said more assistance will be given after assessing the damage. a central team will visit Bihar to assess the damage caused by flood. The coastal guard ship Varuna has been decommissioned. The Indian Coast Guard ship Varuna has been decommissioned. She had served the Indian Navy for over 30 years and was part of the first training squadron of the Indian Navy. The decommissioning was done at the jetty of the Southern Naval Command on the 23rd of August 2017. In a further blow to the Dera chief, sedition charges have been framed against the security men of the Dera chief. Sedition and attempt to murder charges have been slapped against 7 persons, including 5 Haryana police personnel who were part of the Dera Sauda chief's security paraphernalia when he arrived at Panchkula to appear in a CBI court on the 25th of August 2017. They had also been charged with attempt to murder. The 7 security personnel of Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh had allegedly tried to free him when the self-styled Godman was brought outside the Panchkula court complex on the 25th of August after the special CBI court convicted him in a 15-year-old rape case, the police said. Moving on, government wants to replicate the Ujjwala success. The Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana or PMUI, the scheme to give free LPG gas connections to the poorest of household, was termed a game changer for the ruling party in Uttar Pradesh because of its popularity as a pro-poor move. Now the Modi government wants to replicate this success for all the other welfare schemes, especially the ones implemented by the Rural Development Ministry. The PMUI, or the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, owes much of its success to the data provided by the Socio-Economic Caste Census 2011 that helped the Petroleum Ministry, along with the state governments, accurately identify the households in need of an LPG connection. The Indian Army has sought a relief of 20,000 crores for new orders. As part of the efforts to build up emergency reserves of spares and ammunition, the Indian Army has sought 20,000 crore rupees from the Ministry of Defence. This comes at a time the MOD has sought 20,000 crore more funds to meet its financial requirement. The Army's request is meant to meet the procurements being made under the emergency powers of the Vice Chief of the Army Staff. The American warship Pearl Harbor has arrived in India. On the 24th of August 2017, the American Navy's amphibious dock landing ship USS Pearl Harbor arrived at the Goa port. This is the ship's first visit to India. The ship is here as part of the defense cooperation between the United States and India. The ship's marines and engineers will conduct exchange programs with their Indian counterparts during their stay here. Moving on, in a rather very good and positive development, the standoff at Doklam has ended as both sides withdraw troops. Over 2-month-long Doklam standoff has ended as both India and China have withdrawn their troops from the area. India has said the process of disengagement of border personnel at the face-off site in Doklam has been completed under verification. India has always maintained that the differences on such matters can be addressed only through diplomatic channels. This is a very welcome development indeed, as the standoff between India and China in Doklam was on a continuously escalating path in the last few weeks. This has come as a welcome relief to all concerned. Dera Sacha Sauda chief Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh has been sentenced to 20 years in jail. Dera Sacha Sauda chief Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh has been awarded 20 years in jail by the special CBI judge in 2 rape cases. Defense lawyer S.K. Garg Narvana said CBI judge Jagdeep Singh pronounced 2 sentences of 10 years rigorous imprisonment in each of the 2 cases that date back to 2002. He said the sentences will run consecutively and not concurrently, which means that Ram Rahim Singh will have to spend the next 20 years in jail. The court also fined the Dera chief 15 lakh rupees in each of the 2 cases, of which 14 lakh rupees each would go to the 2 rape victims who were part of his sect. The Government of India has launched India's first Videsh Bhavan. The Government of India has brought all external affairs related departments like Passport Office and allied departments under a single roof in the Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai. Under this pilot project, 4 regional passport offices, 4 offices of the Ministry of External Affairs, the offices of the Protector of Immigrants were brought under one roof in the swanky new building in the BKC or Bandra Kurla complex. Rain has again played havoc with the maximum city. Rain brings Mumbai to its knees. Normal life in Mumbai was thrown out of gear following torrential rains which are likely to continue on the 30th of August according to forecasts. According to the Indian Meteorological Department or IMD, Mumbai recorded 102 millimeters of rain and the suburbs of the city saw a staggering 316 millimeters of rain between 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. on the 29th of August, IANS reported. Rain and strong winds battered Mumbai, disrupting rail and air services, uprooting trees, swamping homes, and bringing the megapolis and satellite towns to their knees. However, no casualties have been recorded so far. The lifeline of Mumbai, local train and bus services, were paralyzed by the rain. It's a rather sad development that Mumbai has again been jolted by this unseasonal rain. The rains normally in Mumbai end by the end of July, but this time in August too there has been a torrential rainfall. But it's again good that yesterday or the 30th of August it saw a better day for Mumbai as the rains had subsided. The water started receding in most places and normal life was slowly limping back to normalcy. Mumbaikars have always had a great degree of resilience around them, and this time too it was no different as Mumbaikars have started helping each other and they are limping back to normalcy. The Kudankulam first reactor has been synchronized with the southern grid. Having successfully completed the scheduled second fuel outage recently, KKNPP's first reactor was synchronized with the southern grid at 6:37 a.m. on the 29th of August 2017. After achieving 800 megawatt power generation capability within the next 48 hours, the reactor will be stopped for mandatory tests. On getting the Atomic Energy Regulator Board's nod, power generation in the reactor will be increased to its maximum capacity of 1,000 megawatts. That's all we have news for you in the national news segment. We now move on to the next segment, which is on the international news. The US and South Korea have begun annual military drills. The South Korean and United States militaries on the 21st of August began their first major annual military exercise amid threats from North Korea. The Ulchi Freedom Guardian UFG exercise will conclude on the 31st of August. It is focusing on a tailored joint deterrence strategy based on Operational Plan 5015 of the Combined Forces Command, officials said. Indian origin TV star has been crowned as a child genius. A 12-year-old Indian origin boy has been crowned as the United Kingdom's child genius in a popular television quiz competition days after he became an overnight sensation after answering all questions correctly. Rahul Doshi won the Channel 4 show Child Genius by beating his 9-year-old opponent Ronan 10-4 in the program's final on the 19th of August. Congratulations, Rahul Doshi. Afghanistan hails Trump's support in joint struggle. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has hailed the US President Donald Trump's decision to commit US troops to the country to fight against terrorism and the resurgent Taliban. Mr. Ghani thanked the US for supporting the joint struggle against the threat of terrorism. Mr. Trump has committed the US Army to the open-ended conflict despite previously advocating its withdrawal. He offered few details on the plan, but he did single out Pakistan for offering safe havens to the extremists. In Syria, 42 civilians have been killed in the US-led airstrikes on Islamic State territory in Raqqa. In Syria, at least 42 civilians were killed in a barrage of US-led airstrikes on the Islamic State group territory in the northern city of Raqqa. News agency AFP, quoting Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, said 19 children and 12 women were among those killed in the raids. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights is a UK-based group monitoring the Syrian conflict via a network of contacts on the ground. A wreckage of the Second World War ship has been found after 72 years. The wreckage of the Second World War American ship Indianapolis was found after 72 years by a team of civilian researchers. The ship was found at a depth of 18,000 feet, or about 5.5 kilometers, in the Pacific Ocean. The Indianapolis was destroyed on the 30th of July 1945 while it was returning after supplying spares and ammunition which were used in the bombing of Hiroshima. Out of the 1,196 men on board, only 316 survived and were rescued from the USS Indianapolis. Pakistan using India as an excuse to support terrorist groups. Dismissing concerns over Indian development activities in Afghanistan, a Trump administration official has said Pakistan is using a perceived threat of encirclement by India as an excuse to continue its support to terrorists. National Security Council spokesman Michael Anton said that during a conference call that what India is doing in Afghanistan is not a threat to Pakistan. He said India is not building military bases and is not deploying troops. Anton said in the worst case, the Pakistani government has been guilty of active direct support for terrorist groups. A typhoon of the highest category, Typhoon Hato, has slammed China, streets flooded and flights cancelled. Hato, the 13th typhoon to hit China this year, made landfall in the city of Zhuhai in the southern Guangdong province on the 23rd of August, bringing gales of up to 45 meters per second. So far, 13 cities and counties in Guangdong have issued red alerts for the typhoon. Gales and downpours have suspended work, classes and production in the cities of Zhuhai, Jiangmen and Zhongshan. Moving on in the international news segment, Spanish police have tracked down and shot dead the Barcelona attacker. Spanish police on the 21st of August 2017 shot dead an Islamic militant who killed 13 people with a van in Barcelona last week, ending a 5-day manhunt for the perpetrator of Spain's deadliest attack in over a decade. Police said they tracked 22-year-old Yunis Abu Akyab to a rural area near Barcelona and shot him after he held up what looked like an explosive belt and shouted Allahu Akbar. A bomb squad then used a robo to approach his body. Qatar has restored its full diplomatic relations with Iran. Qatar has restored full diplomatic relations with Iran, disregarding the demands of the Arab nations to lessen its ties with Tehran. Qatar's foreign ministry announced on the 24th of August that the country's ambassador would return to Tehran. Qatar had pulled out its ambassador in early 2016 after Saudi Arabia's execution of a prominent Shiite cleric sparked attacks on 2 Saudi diplomatic posts in Iran, a move to show solidarity with the kingdom. Canada has allowed the entry of Indian pomegranates, banana and okra. For the first time, Canada has allowed import of Indian pomegranate, banana, okra and custard apple from India. However, they have imposed certain conditions. The consignment should be free from soil, pests, leaves and other plant debris. The origin of the material must also be clearly mentioned on the shipping documents. Let us hope this opens up a new avenue of business for the Indian exporters. Pakistan has rejected US comments. On the 23rd of August, Pakistan rejected the comments made by the US President Donald Trump about its counter-terror approach. A statement issued by the National Security Committee after a 5-hour meeting said scapegoating Pakistan will not help in stabilizing Afghanistan. The meeting was headed by Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi. President Trump had earlier said Pakistan was providing safe havens to terrorists. In a continuing move of escalating tension in the Korean Peninsula, North Korea has tested short-range missiles as South Korea and US conduct drills. North Korea fired several short-range missiles into the sea off its east coast early on the 26th of August. South Korea and the US military said as the 2 allies conducted annual joint military drills that the North denounces as preparation for war. The US military's Pacific Command said it had detected 3 short-range ballistic missiles fired over a 20-minute period. All of the missiles failed, with one blowing up almost immediately after launch, while 2 others failed in flight, it added. The heir of the Samsung empire has been jailed for 5 years. The heir to the Samsung business empire, which includes the world's biggest smartphone maker, was sentenced on the 25th of August 2017 to 5 years in prison for bribery and other offenses connected with the scandal that brought down the South Korean President Park Geun-hye. Lee Jae-yong's penalty could leave the giant firm rudderless for years and hamper its ability to make key investment decisions. Lee was found guilty of bribery, embezzlement, perjury and other charges centered on payments and promises by Samsung totaling to 43.3 billion won or around $40 million to Park's secret confidant Choi Soon-sil. Alibaba founder Jack Ma is now Asia's richest person. The founder of the Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba, Jack Ma, is now officially the richest person in Asia with a net worth of $38.3 billion US. He is now the 16th richest person in the world. Tencent chairman Ma Hu-ting is now the second richest with a wealth of $36.7 billion US. India and Qatar have discussed matters of mutual interest. India and Qatar discussed matters of mutual interest pertaining to bilateral, regional and international affairs in New Delhi on the 26th of August 2017. The two sides reviewed the progress on the follow-up of key decisions taken during the high-level bilateral visits, which have been contributing to building up a mutually beneficial partnership between the two countries. The Qatari Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani, who was in New Delhi on a two-day visit, had delegation-level talks with the External Affairs Minister, Mrs. Sushma Swaraj. US President Donald Trump signs a memorandum to ban the plan of recruiting transgenders in the military. US President Donald Trump has signed a memo ordering the Pentagon to ban an Obama-era plan of recruiting transgender individuals in the military. Democrats called the move cruel and meant to hurt and humiliate the American soldiers. Mr. Trump alleged that his predecessor Barack Obama dismantled the Defense Department's established framework by permitting transgender individuals to serve openly in the military. In a rather strange development in Thailand, the former Thailand Prime Minister has fled the country. Facing a possible 10-year jail term, former Thailand Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra fled the country ahead of a court verdict. Yingluck's whereabouts are not immediately known, but local media cited anonymous officials as saying that she traveled by land to Cambodia and then flew to Dubai to join her brother, Thaksin Shinawatra, another exiled former prime minister whose government, like hers, was toppled in a military coup. Yingluck, who became Thailand's first female prime minister when a party swept the elections in 2011, is accused of negligence in overseeing a money-losing rice subsidy program. Uber Technologies has announced a new CEO for their company. Uber Technologies Incorporated on the 27th of August hired Dara Korawashi, the chief executive of travel company Expedia Incorporated, as his new chief executive, handing him the challenge of leading the ride services company out of a nearly year-long crisis. Korawashahi, 48 years old, will take on the daunting task of mending Uber's image, repairing frayed relations amongst investors, rebuilding employee morale, and creating a profitable business after 7 years of losses. He will also have to contend with the legacy of his predecessor. Hurricane Harvey has wreaked havoc in Houston, Texas. Hurricane Harvey, the most powerful typhoon to hit the United States in 13 years, left a trail of destruction as it swept across Texas on the 27th of August, pummeling the region with heavy rains and claiming at least 2 lives since making landfall on the U.S. Gulf Coast. Harvey continued to batter Texas as rescuers grappled with heavy rains to reach out people stranded due to hurricane, with winds topping 130 miles per hour. Harvey is the first Category 4 storm to make landfall in the United States since Hurricane Charlie struck Florida in 2004, and the first to hit Texas since Hurricane Carla hit in 1961. It may be added here that Hurricane Harvey has reportedly caused the costliest damage to the United States by natural causes in recent times. The Hurricane Harvey has still not weakened, as after Texas, it has now pounded Louisiana, Today's newspaper says that Louisiana is under the grip of the Hurricane Harvey, and the Hurricane Harvey seems to have no sign of relenting as of now. The Russian central bank has launched one of the biggest bailouts in their history. Russia's central bank launched one of the biggest banking bailouts in history on the 29th of August, saying it would rescue troubled private lender Odkirii, which has suffered a sustained run on its deposits amid worries about its loan portfolio. The central bank said it planned to tap its own funds in order to become a major investor in Odkirii, the country's 7th biggest bank by assets, according to Interfact's data. The bailout is likely to stoke anxiety about the wider state of the Russian banking. North Korea does not seem to keep quiet at all. They seem to continue to escalate tensions on their peninsular area. The latest in the news is that North Korea has filed a missile over Japan. Now, nuclear-armed North Korea said it had filed a missile over Japan on the 29th of August, the first time it has ever acknowledged to doing so. The launch represented a major escalation by Pyongyang in the face of tensions over its weapons programs, which have seen it threaten to send a salvo of missiles towards the US territory of Guam and prompted Donald Trump to warn of fire and fury. That's all we have news for you in the international segment. We now move on to the third segment of this current affairs for this week between the 22nd of August and the 30th of August 2017. The first news on the banking and economy and finance segment is that the government has put urad moong dal imports under restricted category. The government has put imports of urad and moong dal under the restricted category and fixed an annual cap of 3 lakh tons for the import. The move will help stabilize domestic prices, which have fallen below the minimum support level and are hurting farmers. The Directorate General of Foreign Trade, in a notification, said import of urad and moong dal is revised from free to restricted category. Indian Oil Corporation is to invest 52,000 crores in Paradip Port. The state-run oil major Indian Oil Corporation is all set to invest 52,000 crores in Paradip Port. This is being done for expansionary purposes and to set up a petrochemical complex. The Odisha government has agreed to give an interest-free loan of up to 700 crores per annum for 15 years. Banking operations in public sector banks were disrupted due to the nationwide strike. Normal banking operations have been hit as public sector employees went on a one-day nationwide strike on the 22nd of August to protect against the government's proposed consolidation move. Several services like deposits and withdrawal at bank branches, check clearances, NEFT and RTGS transactions were affected. However, operations at the private sector banks continued as normal as before. The FDI has jumped to 37% to $10.4 billion during the period April to June 2017. Foreign direct investment, or FDI, into the country grew by 37% to $10.4 billion during the first quarter of the current fiscal year. According to the figures released by the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, DIPP, India had received around $8 billion FDI during the same period last year. From $8 billion it has gone up to $10.4 billion. The main sectors which attracted the highest foreign inflows include services, telecom, trading, computer hardware and software, and automobile. Bulk of the FDI came in from Singapore, Mauritius, and the Netherlands and Japan. 2 regional rural banks record over 150 crore rupees profit in financial year 2017. Of the 56 regional rural banks in the country, 2 have notched up net profits of over 150 crores each during the period 2016-17. These are the Karnataka Vikas Gramina Bank and Andhra Pragati Gramina Bank, both sponsored by Syndicate Bank. These are the among 49 RRBs that recorded a profit in 2016-17. 7 of the 56 RRBs suffered losses during the same period. The Cabinet has approved the framework of consolidation of public sector banks. The Union Cabinet has approved the framework of consolidation of public sector banks. The decision is aimed at creating strong and competitive banks in public sector to meet the credit needs of a growing economy, absorb shocks, and have the capacity to raise resources without depending unduly on the state exchequer. the decision about creating strong and competitive banks could be solely based on commercial considerations, said the cabinet. CCEA approves the renaming of the central sector scheme Sampada. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, CCEA, has approved the renaming of the new central sector scheme, Sampada, or Scheme for Agro-Marine Processing and Development of Agro-Processing Clusters, as Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana for the period of 2016 to 20, commentaries with the 14th Finance Commission cycle. Earlier, the CCEA, in a meeting in May this year, had approved the Sampada scheme with the same allocation and period. Now it will be coterminous with the 14th Finance Commission cycle. The government has notified and released 200 rupee notes. The government on the 23rd of August gave its go-ahead to the RBI to issue 200 rupee notes that will ease pressure on the lower denomination currency bills. Finance Ministry in a notification said, on the recommendations of the Central Board of Directors of RBI, the government has notified bank notes of 200 rupees. These 200 rupee notes have since come into circulation at a few branches of a few banks. However, ATMs will have to wait for a longer period to get these 200 rupee notes, as the ATM machines have to be recalibrated according to the size of the 200 rupee notes. So consumers wanting to have the 200 rupee notes from the ATMs will have to wait for perhaps a month more to get these 200 rupee notes. Until then, they can get it from the bank branches. This is the fourth new note to be announced since November 2016, when the 1,000 and 500 rupee notes were demonetized. NABARD has announced a 1,350 crore rupee loan to Rajasthan government. On the 20th of August 2017, the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, announced that it was giving a loan of 1,350 crores to the state government of Rajasthan. The loan is for the creation of a rural infrastructure in the state under the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. The loan includes assistance for construction of 2 rural drinking water supply projects, 600 crores for strengthening and rehabilitation of 1,614 rural roads, and the modernization of 3 major irrigation projects. The continuously confusing state on GST probably has not ended. In the latest development, the centre has announced that a 5% GST is applicable on selling of space for advertisement in print media. The government has clarified that 5% GST is applicable on selling of space for advertisement in print media if an agency buys space from the newspaper and sells the same to clients on its own account. However, the GST rate will be 18% of the sales commission if the agency works as an agent of the newspaper on commission basis. The Finance Ministry said 18% GST will be liable if the advertisement agency supplies any service other than the selling of space for advertisement. The Asia Index Private Limited has launched the Standard & Poor BSE Bharat 22 Index. Asia Index Private Limited has launched the S&P BSE Bharat 22 Index. The index is used to track the share prices of public sector companies in which the centre has divested its investments. It consists of select 22 blue chip companies, out of which 16 are central public sector undertakings, 3 are from the specified undertakings of the Unit Trust of India, and the remaining 3 are PSU banks, all listed in the Bombay Stock Exchange. After a long and protracted battle in the boardroom, the co-founder of Infosys, Nandan Nilekani, is back as the chairman of the company. Nandan Nilekani, the 62-year-old co-founder of India's second-largest software services exporter, Infosys, returned to the company's board after an 8-year hiatus on the 24th of August as the firm's chairman. This is a move that the investors expect would help and end a bitter standoff between the founder, N.R. Narayana Murthy, and the company's board. In an announcement, the Bengaluru-based company said that the board had unanimously approved Mr. Nilekani's appointment as the non-executive chairman of the board with immediate effect. Scientists have developed the world's smallest surgical robo. Scientists in the United Kingdom have developed the world's smallest surgical robo with low-cost technology, which is used in mobile phone and space industries. The robo, named Versia, mimics a human arm and does a variety of functions which hitherto were thought undoable by robots. It is very useful in handling complex surgeries, which facilitates doctors in hospitals. It can be used for performing a variety of surgical operations. On the 25th of August 2017, the Reserve Bank of India issued new 250 rupees denomination bank notes in the Mahatma Gandhi new series bearing the signature of the RBI Governor Dr. Urjit Patel. Initially, the new 200 rupee notes will be circulated by select RBI offices and some banks. The new 200 rupee denomination has the motif of Sanchi Stupa on the reverse, depicting the country's cultural heritage. The base color of the note is bright yellow. The note has other designs, geometric patterns, aligning with the overall color scheme, both on the obverse and the reverse. Dhanlakshmi Bank and DLF Pramerica tie up for bank assurance. On the 24th of August 2017, Thrissur-based Dhanlakshmi Bank and the general insurance company DLF Pramerica have signed an MOU in which the former will be the bank assurance partner for the insurance company. 260 branches of Dhanlakshmi Bank will sell the general insurance products of DLF Pramerica. The bank expects to garner an additional income of between 20 and 30 crores a year by this arrangement. HDFC Bank has launched an all-in-one POS machine. HDFC Bank has launched an all-in-one POS machine that can be used for all types of transactions with the bank. This was done on the 22nd of August 2017. With this DigiPOS, a merchant can transact as many as 12 types of digital transactions with one POS machine. The Union Finance Ministry has come out with a significant announcement and said that the centre is ready to give funds for the merger of public sector banks. The Finance Ministry is open to providing capital support for facilitating consolidation amongst state-owned banks which are reeling under mounting losses and bad loans. The Union Cabinet has approved the setting up of an alternative mechanism or a panel of ministers to decode on the consolidation proposals for state-run banks. On receiving a proposal from stressed banks, if the ministerial panel finds that the merger is going to create a strong bank, it will not let it go for want of fund shortage, the sources added, adding that acquisition would of course come at a cost. The government has notified changes in the Banking Regulation Act of 1949. The government has brought about changes in the Banking Regulation Act to enable RBI to invoke provisions to recover bad loans. The banking sector is burdened with non-performing assets or NPAs to the extent of over 8 lakh crores, out of which over 6 lakh crores is with the public sector banks. The RBI has recently identified 12 large NPAs for referral under the bankruptcy law. The insurance regulator IRDAI, or the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India, has launched a central base of all insurance sellers in the country called Envoy. This database ensures that any channel of salesperson in the industry, in whichever category they fall, do not work for multiple insurance companies, as this is banned by the IRDAI. The Indian Commodity Exchange has launched the world's first diamond future contract. The Indian Commodity Exchange has launched the world's first diamond future contract, thus giving the diamond exporters a tool for hedging. The futures contract will enable the diamond traders to offer better hedging, pricing risk to their customers. SEBI has approved the ICAX to commence future trading in diamonds. The government has banned import of gold and silver from South Korea. The central government has banned the import of gold and silver from South Korea with immediate effect. These restrictions have been placed because of a sudden surge in imports of the metals from the South Korean country in recent times. It must be mentioned here that India has a free trade agreement with South Korea. Lockheed Martin offers to export F-16 jets from proposed India facility. Lockheed Martin is closing in on an international deal for F-16 fighter planes and has offered to eventually build all the jets at a proposed plant in India if it wins a bigger order to supply the Indian Air Force, a top executive of the company has said. The US defense giant and Sweden's Saab are in a two-horse race to equip the Indian Air Force with at least 100 single-engine jets that have to be produced locally under the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Make in India plan. Randall L. Howard, who leads the F-16 business development, said Lockheed is offering to make India the sole F-16 production center, so that eventually it will make the planes not just for India, but also from other countries, but it will be made in India. The Commerce Ministry is formulating a new industrial policy. On the 29th of August 2017, the Commerce Ministry said it has started a process to formulate a new industrial policy expected to be released in October, which is aimed at making India a global manufacturing hub. The Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion under the ministry said that since the announcement of the last industrial policy in 1991, India has transformed into one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The new policy will subsume the national manufacturing policy. Ashish Chauhan to continue as the CEO of Bombay Stock Exchange. The Bombay Stock Exchange has informed that its current Chief Executive Officer Ashish Chauhan will continue as the CEO for another period of 5 years. He had joined the BSE as the Deputy CEO in 2019. That's all we have news in the banking, economy and finance segment. We now move on to the fourth segment of this session on current affairs for the period between the 22nd of August and the 30th of August 2017. And this section is on science and technology. A backup navigation satellite is to be launched on the 31st of August by ISRO. ISRO has announced that the next mission is on 31st August. The backup navigation satellite IRNSS-1H will be launched from the Sriharikota Launchpad Center just before 7 p.m. on the 31st of August 2017, which is today. The spacecraft, weighing over 1,400 kgs, is similar to the other 7 that are already in orbit. It will be put in a geostationary orbit in space over 55 degrees east longitude on ISRO's light-lifting PSLV rocket. A new state of matter has been discovered. Scientists have discovered a potential new state of matter that may help explain phenomena like superconductivity. Superconductivity is extensively used in magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, particle accelerators, magnetic fusion devices, and microwave filters. Researchers from the Los Alamos National Laboratory in the United States showed that amongst the superconducting materials in high magnetic fields, the phenomenon of electronic symmetry breaking is common. India has granted license to Pfizer for its pneumonia drug. The American pharma major Pfizer has been granted patent license by the Indian government for its pneumonia-fighting vaccine, Prevnar 13. The vaccine reportedly helps the occurrence of pneumonia, especially amongst children. The patent is valid in India till 2026. Currently, Prevnar 13 is priced at 3,800 per dose. A child will require 3 such doses. An Indian student has developed nano-missiles for the Indian Army. A student of SRM University in Chennai has developed a nano-missile for the Indian Army. The missile, developed by DP Rohit, was tested on the 21st August 2017, and it entered the world records of India. The missile has been developed to enable the army and the local police to fight terrorism. China may attend the science ministers meet in Chennai. Despite the border tension, of course, which has since abated, China is amongst the countries invited by India to a science and technology ministers conclave to be held in Chennai in September. The science ministers of Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh and Indonesia are amongst the others invited to the meeting that will discuss how science and technology can address the common challenges in these countries. The conclave is part of the India International Science Festival, a three-year-old mela of students and scientists that showcases contemporary and historical achievements of Indian science. In another scientific development, researchers have developed biosensors to detect kidney disorders. Researchers in the Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai, have developed a biosensor which will help in detecting kidney disorders in as little as 8 minutes. The biosensor can detect both the pH content and urea content with a single drop of urine. This accurate test will determine whether both the kidneys in the patient are functioning normally or not. The discovery is hailed as a path-breaking one in the field of medicine. We now move on to the fifth segment of this current affairs session, and that is on the other current affairs. An Udaipur boy has entered the Limca book for JEE feat. The first ever student to have secured 100% in the prestigious joint entrance examination mains, Udaipur boy Kalpit Veeraval has made it to the Limca book of records for his feat. Veeraval scored 360 out of 360 in the JEE mains this year and is now studying computer science at the Indian Institute of Technology in Mumbai. His record of the perfect score will feature under the Education Achievements category of the 2018 edition, an official from the Limca Book of Records said. Congratulations, Kalpit Veeraval. The World Photography Day was celebrated on the August 19th. The World Photographer Day is observed worldwide on the 19th of August to inspire photographers around the world to share a single photo with a simple message. World Photography Day originates from the invention of daguerreotype, a photographic process developed by the Frenchman Louis Daguerre and his colleague. British science fiction writer Brian Aldiss has died at the age of 92. Brian Aldiss, one of the most prolific and influential science fiction writers of the 20th century, has died aged 92. Literary agency Curtis Brown said Aldiss died early on last Saturday at his home in Oxford in England. Born in 1925, Aldiss served in India and Burma with the British Army during the Second World War and later became a bookseller, publishing his first stories in a trade magazine. The Forbes magazine has released the list of highest paid actors in the world. As per the latest release by list released by Forbes, Mark Wahlberg is the highest paid actor in the world in 2017. He earned an estimated $68 million in the year 2017. Last year's dopper Dwayne Johnson was the second in the list with earnings of $65 million. It is to be noted and added that three actors from India, Shah Rukh Khan with $38 million, Salman Khan with $37 million, and Akshay Kumar with $35.5 million were placed 8th, 9th, and 10th positions respectively in the list of highest paid actors released by the Forbes magazine for the year 2017. Qatar Airways has entered into an interline partnership with Vistara. Qatar Airways has entered into an interline partnership with Indian carrier Vistara, by which customers will be provided with through check-in facility for seamless travel. This is effective from the 22nd of August 2017. Passengers of both airlines can travel seamlessly in the domestic sector of Vistara and the global network of Qatar Airways. The former RBI Governor, Dr. Raghuram Rajan, has written a new book. The former Governor of Reserve Bank of India, Dr. Raghuram Rajan, has written a new book, I Do What I Do, on reform, rhetoric, and resolve. The book will be launched on the 4th of September 2017. Besides Dr. Rajan's commentary, the book is also expected to contain excerpts of his speeches, giving the readers an idea of what it was like to be an RBI governor. Justice Deepak Mishra has been sworn in as the 45th Chief Justice of India. Justice Deepak Mishra was sworn in as the 45th Chief Justice of India on the 28th of August 2017. President Ramnath Kovind administered him the oath of office at a function in Rashtrapati Bhavan. Justice Mishra succeeded Justice J.S. Kekar, who retired on the 28th of August 2017. Justice Mishra will have a tenure of nearly 13 months. We move on to the last segment of this live video session, and that is from the field of sports. Para-athlete Devendra and hockey player Sardar Singh have been given the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award. Para-Olympian Devendra Jajaria and hockey player Sardar Singh have been selected for this year's Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award. The award is given to sportspersons for spectacular and most outstanding performance in the field over a period of 4 years. Cricketers Hanmanpreet Kaur and Cheteshwar Pujara, shooter P.N. Prakash, pugilist L. Devendra Singh and tennis player Saket Maini are amongst the 17 sportspersons who will be given the Arjuna Awards this year. The glamour girl of women's tennis, Maria Sharapova, is back in Grand Slam tennis. former world number 1 Maria Sharapova will make her first Grand Slam appearance this week since serving a 15-month doping suspension, bringing renewed passion and resolve to the US Open tournament. The 30-year-old Russian was given a wild card entry into the tournament by the US Tennis Association, a move critics complained about earlier in the season, but another key step in the road back for the 5-time Grand Slam winner. In her continued period of success, the badminton player PV Sindhu has not just entered the semi-finals of the World Badminton Championships, but also won the silver medal in the World Championships, which was played in Glasgow, Scotland. Saina Nehwal had to settle with a bronze, and PV Sindhu created further glory for the country by winning the silver medal at the World Badminton Championships in Glasgow. She lost to the Japanese player in a match which lasted 1 hour and 49 minutes and also saw the longest rally in a badminton game in women's badminton, which consisted of 71 shots. Congratulations, PV Sindhu. You're doing the country proud. London is to host the 2018 Table Tennis World Cup. The 2018 World Team Table Tennis Championships will be held in London from the 22nd to the 25th of February 2018. This is the second most prestigious event in table tennis after the World Championships. It comprises of 12 men and 12 women's tennis. Cristiano Ronaldo has been named as the UEFA Player of the Season 2016-17. Cristiano Ronaldo was named the UEFA Player of the Season for the 2016-17. This is his third Player of the Season award for Ronaldo. Juventus goalkeeper and captain Gianluigi Buffon was in the second place, while Lionel Messi was in the third. As I said in the few minutes ago, Sindhu loses the World Championship final gallantly. PV Sindhu's gallant effort to become India's first ever world champion ended in a heart-wrenching defeat against Nozomi Okuhara in an epic final in Glasgow on the 27th of August 2017. In a nerve-wracking final which tested the physical and mental strength of both the players, Sindhu lost 19-21, 22-20, 20-22 after battling hard for 1 hour and 49 minutes. After closing the second game by winning an incredible 73-shot rally, Sindhu saved 1 championship point in the decider, but it was the Japanese girl who had the last laugh. But anyway, we must congratulate PV Sindhu on this stupendous achievement. Lewis Hamilton of Britain wins his Belgian Grand Prix, his 200th. Lewis Hamilton celebrated his record-equaling 68th pole position with victory at the Belgian Grand Prix on the 27th of August, trimming championship leader Sebastian Vettel lead to 7 points. Vettel finished second, about 2 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian was very, very close. He was very consistent throughout, said Hamilton after his 200th Grand Prix. That's what racing is all about. The National Sports Day is being observed on the 29th of August. 29th of August is the National Sports Day. This day is celebrated on the 29th of August every year to mark the birthday of the legendary hockey player Dhyan Chand. To celebrate the day, various programs are being conducted through the country. The President conferred the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award, Arjuna Award and Dronacharya Award at a glittering function in Rashtrapati Bhavan on the 29th of August. That's all we have news for you in this edition of the Current Affairs. And now I am open for any questions that you may want to ask of me. Kindly go ahead with your questions so that I can answer them to the best of my ability. Please go ahead. Vignesh R is asking, what is mutual interest? Mutual interest means in the interest of both parties concerned. So China and India have decided to end the Doklam standoff in the interest of both the countries. That is the mutual interest. Ramananda has asked, please, sir, explain the differences between the 3 sports awards. The Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award is awarded for sports persons with outstanding contributions in their field of sports to the Indian nation during a particular year. The second award, Dronacharya Award, is given for the best coach found in the country. And the Arjuna Award is given for many sports persons for their respective achievements in their respective fields. I hope this clarifies your doubt, Ramananda. Karpesh Shiva Manish has also asked, tell us about Arjuna and Khel Ratna awards. I just told you the difference. Arjuna awards are given in different fields, in almost in all the field of sports during any particular year. Therefore, normally between 17 and 25 persons get Arjuna awards every year. Whereas the Khel Ratna awards, Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna award, is normally given to one person only every year. This year, however, the government has made an exception and made two persons the recipient of the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna award. One was the para-Olympian athlete, and the other was the former hockey captain Sardar Singh. Shilpi Sharan has asked, sir, shouldn't simultaneous sentencing mean a 10-year ban? As the court said, that sentence will not be served consecutively. Well, Shilpi, I do not know what you mean by a 10-year ban. What the court has said in the Ram Rahim case is that he is imprisoned for 10 years consecutively, which means that he has to serve a 10-year period followed by another 10-year period, which means that he should be in jail for a 20-year period. That is what is the sentence all about. Arif has asked in how much time we can expect the merging of PSU banks, and will there be any impact on people already working, or will there be any decrease in recruitment? Well, Arif, the government is committed to merging weak public sector banks with the strong public sector banks. There is no doubt about that. But there has been no time limit set for this merger. The government has just set the ball rolling. It has been talking in various forums. The finance minister and the finance secretary and so on, people have been talking in various forums. No time limit has been fixed as such for the merger of the public sector banks. But as and when it happens, it will be a very clear activity that the weak banks will be merged with the stronger ones, so that there will be fewer number of banks to contend with. That is definite. As far as the people are concerned, as far as the people working, they will have no effect. It will have no effect on them, because the employees of the merged bank will be employees of the new bank. And will there be any decrease in recruitment? Well, I do not think so, because I just read a recent article in which it is said that over the next 2-year period, as much as 85,800 banking jobs are on the line, in the sense that are available. 85,800 banking jobs are available for grabs at the entry level. Banks are giving a very big push to rural expansion, rural branch expansion. A lot of emphasis is being placed on opening of new branches in semi-urban, urban and rural centers. So retail banking is going to be the focus of the country, and retail banking means that you will need a lot more people. Whether banks are being merged or not, definitely the recruitment drive will not come down. That much I can tell you. But when it will happen, well, it's anybody's guess. Dimli Chaitanya has said, hello sir, can you please go again through the triple talaq news? I'm reading out again, Dimli Chaitanya, for your benefit. Triple talaq is illegal, says Supreme Court. The Supreme Court on the 22nd of August set aside by a majority verdict the practice of divorce through triple talaq amongst Muslims, saying that the practice was void, illegal and unconstitutional. The apex court held that triple talaq is against the basic tenets of the Quran. In view of the different opinions recorded by a majority of 3:2, the practice of talaq-e-bidat or triple talaq is set aside, said a 5-bench constitution in a 395-page order. Aman Pandey has asked, is it necessary to link Aadhaar with phone numbers? Well, that's what the government seems to be saying, at least as of now. We really do not know, because Aadhaar has been in the midst of a lot of controversy of late. We'll have to wait and watch, but as of now, it is necessary. Atish Dalal has also asked, sir, can you brief on triple talaq? Well, Atish, triple talaq is an ancient system followed by the Muslim community, in which the man can divorce his wife by uttering the word talaq 3 times. Talaq, 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 and the marriage is null and void. That is the practice followed by Muslims in the man divorcing his wife. It was resented upon by the women community of the Muslims in particular and the women community in general all over the country. There was a big uprising against this triple talaq practice, and the cases were filed in the Supreme Court, and a constitution bench of the Supreme Court recently held that triple talaq is void, illegal and unconstitutional, as according to the judges it goes against the basic tenets of the Quran. I hope this satisfies you, Atish. How many Dronacharya award can be given in a year? Asked Pavan Kumar. Well, Pavan, normally the practice is to give one Dronacharya award every year. Shilpi has again asked, sir, mention the topics for this week where we can consider for essay, paragraph writing. Well, Shilpi, it is very difficult for me to mention any topic as such for this week because the choice is left to you. General awareness and current awareness is an ocean, and it's very difficult to pinpoint any one subject. However, if you ask me on a personal note on the subject of current affairs, 2-3 things come to my mind. One is, of course, the Aadhaar and the right of privacy, which the Supreme Court has said is a fundamental right under the Constitution. That is one subject. The second subject could be the lessening of the tensions between India and China on the Doklam site, on the India-China border. And of course, the third could always be the escalating tensions in the Korean Peninsula. Agni Lak has said, sir, while reading the Hindu business page, I find it difficult to understand. How can I improve it? Well, Agil Nak. Well, Agil, I do not know what you mean by difficult to understand, because the Hindu business page gives news as it happens. So how you can improve it? Well, perhaps read it again and again. You will get used to the tone and style of the writing by the Hindu reporters. Then it will become easy. Anisha Kotian has asked, can the merger of public sector banks bring down the non-performing assets of banks? Well, the objective is yes. The objective is yes, because the non-performing assets of banks are mostly in weaker banks now. Not necessarily only weaker banks have NPAs. Even State Bank of India has NPAs. But the percentage of non-performing assets would obviously come down if the banks are merged, because a weak bank would then be merging with a stronger bank, and the stronger bank would have lesser NPAs. That's why it's termed strong. And the percentage of NPAs could then actually theoretically come down. It may not mean that the NPAs are recovered, but the percentage could come down. I hope that satisfies you, Anisha. Atish Jalal has said, sir, kindly tell about intellectual rights, patents, copyrights and trademark. Well, Atish, there are different types of rights which a person or a country can hold. The intellectual property rights is given for people who are in the academic field, who write, and who write certain books and others. They are given intellectual property rights because it's a work of their intellect, and that cannot be stolen by anybody else. Patents is actually for research subjects and for manufacturing. Patent is for research and manufacturing. Intellectual is more for writing. Copyright is, of course, for writing. And trademark is for products. Trademark is for products because a product, for example, I'm just giving you an example which just came to my mind. You must have heard of the pain balm Amrithanjan. Amrithanjan is a trademark of the Amrithanjan Manufacturing Company in India, which means that that particular trademark cannot be infringed, or in other words, the name Amrithanjan cannot be used by any other manufacturer of a pain balm within India. That is called the trademark. It is a trademark is particular to a given product. It cannot be changed. So that is what is known as a trademark. Copyright is mainly for works of literary works. Patents is for manufacturing and research subjects. And of course, intellectual property rights is for works of intellect. Vignesh has said, but PO recruitment is very low, sir. Well, Vignesh, the recruitment depends on the individual needs of the individual banks. So I would not be able to really comment on whether it is low or high. But in my view, it should not happen that it will be reducing. Aman Pandey has asked, what is systematic investment plan? Well, Aman, systematic investment plan is the best way of investment in a mutual fund available today. The systematic investment plan means, as the name indicates, you have to invest systematically, regularly every month. It is like a bank recurring deposit that you open an account and save every month, either on the 5th or the 7th or the 10th of the month, as the case may be, and you continue it for as long as you want. The advantage of systematic investment plan is that it gives you the rupee cost averaging, which means the rupee cost averaging means that in some months the stock markets could be very high, so you could get lower number of units. In the another month, the stock market could have lowered down, so which means you will get a higher number of units, and so on. The advantage of systematic investment plan is that not only does it give rupee cost averaging, but also that SIP is very, very flexible. You can save 2,000 rupees a month, and after 5 months increase it to 5,000 rupees. After 7 months increase it to 6,000 rupees, and after a year bring it back to 5,000 rupees, and so on. It's very, very systematic. It's very, very flexible. So the systematic investment plan is the best way of investment for a person in the mutual fund industry today. And for further information on the SIP, I would request Aman Pandey to go through my video presentation on mutual funds, which is available in the banking dashboard of TalentSprint. There are 4 presentations on mutual funds in a very detailed and exhaustive method. I have covered all the topics concerning mutual funds, and one of the topics which has been covered is, of course, systematic investment plan. Aman, please refer to that for further details. Atish Dalal says, also, sir, can you kindly brief on the Doklam standoff? Well, Atish, it shows that you have not been reading the newspapers or reading current affairs regularly. The Doklam standoff has been there in the news for the last 2 months. Doklam is a place in Arunachal Pradesh near the, it is a triangle in the border of Bhutan, India and China. And the Indian and Chinese army men were engaged in a standoff for more than 2 months now. China was attempting to build a road along that triangle, and India objected to it, saying that it is Indian territory. Bhutan also supported India, but however, China was hell-bent on building that road so that it can go ahead with the China-Pakistan open border road project. But however, things came to a face-off when both the troops garnered strength, and there was some hand-fist cuffing and all that. But luckily, the tensions have been de-escalated now. Both the troops have withdrawn to their original positions, and Doklam is again breathing more peacefully now. Riala Haritha has asked, is it necessary to link Aadhaar with PAN card and with others as the case is going on in court? Well, Haritha, the court is yet to decide on that, so the matter is sub judice. However, as per the present orders, it is necessary to link Aadhaar with PAN. Even today's newspapers carry an article which says that the time limit for linking Aadhaar with PAN and other bank account details, etc., has been extended from September 30th to the 31st of December. So until then, until the court decides, it is necessary to link. I hope that satisfies. Nilesh Chowdhury says, sir, was it mandatory by Dhanlakshmi Bank to notify RBI before selling insurance products? Well, Nilesh, insurance products come under purview of IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India. But Dhanlakshmi Bank comes under the purview of RBI. So Dhanlakshmi Bank, or for that matter, any bank, before it obtains the license for bank assurance product from any insurance company, must notify and get approval of both RBI and the IRDAI. I hope that is that satisfies your answer. That satisfies your question, Nilesh. Aman Pandey, difference between SIP and mutual fund in brief. Well, Aman, SIP is a part of the mutual fund. SIP is a way of investing in mutual funds. Systematic investment plan is a way of investing mutual funds which helps the retail investors to save regularly and earn the benefits of improvements in the markets at a later stage. I just now explained recently, a few minutes ago, about the systematic investment plan and what are its various features. And I would humbly request you that you please go through my video presentations on mutual funds. There are 4 video presentations on mutual funds which are available in our banking dashboard. I'm sure you'll get a better idea, because this there may not be enough time to explain about mutual funds in this forum, as the time is very limited, and mutual fund is a very, very vast subject. So please go through that video presentation. Geeta has asked, what is 3:1 ratio mean in triple talaq? Well, Geeta, please go through the presentation carefully. The 3:2 ratio is a ratio of judges who were for and against the triple talaq. In a constitution bench of the Supreme Court, there are 5 judges. Out of the 5 judges, 3 of them were against triple talaq and 2 of them supported it. Since the majority were against the triple talaq, by a ratio of 3:2, the triple talaq was banned. I hope this clarifies your question, Geeta. 3:2 has got nothing to do with triple talaq. 3:2 means the ratio of 3 judges for the ban and 2 judges against the ban. Any constitution bench in the Supreme Court is made up of 5 judges. Aman Pandey is asking, what if Aadhaar and PAN is not linked? Well, as of the law right now, you cannot file your income tax returns without the PAN and the Aadhaar being linked. From Atish Dalal, he's asking why the government of India has restricted import of gold and silver from South Korea. Atish, the answer to that question is very simple. When the country imports more and more gold and silver from South Korea, or for the matter any country, it means that it has to pay for the import in dollars. With the weakening of the Indian rupee, the Indian government will have to pay more rupees for the import. That is number 1. Number 2, the imported gold might be cheaper than the Indian gold, which means that more and more people will start buying gold from the imported version. And more of the imported version means more of the dollar outgo from India, which will weaken the Indian rupee further. And that's the reason why the government wants to restrict the import of gold and silver from South Korea. I hope that satisfied your questions, Atish. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for having joined me on this session today. I hope it was enjoyable. I really enjoyed making this presentation to you. I'm sure it contained a lot of additional information. My only request is, apart from reading through the daily updates on current affairs, which I upload every day on the banking dashboard, please do watch the weekly live current affairs sessions, and also please read the newspapers. That is very, very important. Please read as many newspapers as possible so that you can be updated and abreast of all the current affairs developments in India and the world. Thanks for watching Talent Sprint. Please continue to watch Talent Sprint videos. Thank you very much. Goodbye and have a good day.